Hey, fourth graders, welcome back to day 2 of Number Corner. Today is October 2nd. It's Friday, or should I say, Fry-yay! Before we can enjoy our Friday, though, we still have some work to do, so we're going to jump right in to Number Corner. So, I'm going to show you my teacher master for some miniature markers, because today we're going to look at our calendar grid. And before we can look at our calendar grid and really think about what's happening, I need you to study what you see here and then talk to me about what it is you're noticing. So I'm going to give you a moment to do so. What are you seeing? Okay, who's ready to share? Yeah, I see a dollar bill. You're right. What else? Right, it says they're all worth 1. So this is a unit, this is a unit, this is 1 unit, this is a unit. Good thinking. Can anybody add on to that? They're all worth 1, but this is a dollar. This isn't a dollar. Yeah. That's a 10 by 10 right here. And so, how is that 1? I see a whole bunch of squares. Right, if I color in the whole thing, that means I've colored in one whole 10 by 10 grid. $1. What about this? So we have one pentagon, right, with 5 broken up into fifths, I should say. And then we have this rectangle here. So how can these things be different but all have a value of 1? Yeah, they're all worth 1 if you have the whole thing or if you color in the whole thing. The sizes are different, but no matter what, if you're talking about the whole thing, you're talking about one whole object or one whole dollar, one whole pentagon. So let's look at our very first calendar marker for October, and let's see how we might choose to name what we're seeing. So here it is. Are you ready? Wow. Let's zoom in on that. Now you can see it really good. What is it? Yeah, it's a dime. But how might I name this dime? What are some names I would call it? Like if you were talking about Miss Trammell, my name is Miss Trammell. My name is also Mom to my kids. My name is also Graylin to my parents. So how would I name this dime? What is it? I'm going to go back here so we can record our thinking. Okay, so we know it's a dime. So I'm going to go ahead and put 1 dime. Nice. What else do we know? What else can we call this? Let's make it a little smaller. That's money form. Okay. Well, what is a dime worth? You got it, 10 cents. So let me add that. 10 cents. Okay, anything else? Do we always write money just with a cent sign? No, we could write it with a dollar sign, and it might look like this. 0.10. Or we could even put a 0 in front of our decimal. That just says we have 10 cents. Is there any other way we can call this dime in terms of money? Or any other names, I should say. Let's think about equivalence. What does equivalence mean? Right, equivalence means it has the same value. So is there another way that we can have 10 cent? Yeah, So it could be 2 nickels or 10 pennies. Very good. So now let's look at the fractions section. How might I say 10 cent as a fraction? Okay, so 10 cents is, you got it, it's 1/10 of a dollar, because I would need 10 of those dimes in order to make a whole dollar. Since I only have one, it means I have 1/10 of a dollar. So I'm going to write that as a fraction, 1/10. And I'm going to add of a dollar, just to be really specific here. And I'm going to put that in our fractions section. I think we've already done the decimals, so that should be fairly easy for us to fill in, right? So we have 10 cent, and maybe Miss Trammell shouldn't have put it there, so I'm just going to move that over here. We could write it with a dollar sign, or we can write it just as a decimal. So I am going to add that. Decimal 10. And I'm going to add a 0 in front of that. I'm also going to add a 0 in front of our one with the dollar sign, just to be really clear about what's happening here. While I'm doing that, I would love for you guys to open up your Number Corner journal to page 14. It should say base 10 mats at the top. And we're going to do the next part of the activity for calendar grid. I'll give you a moment to get there. Okay, are you there? Page 14. Right. So we're going to fill in page 14 by looking at the second marker for October. Since today is the second day of October, we didn't start calendar grid yesterday, so we're catching up today. So let's look at it. Yikes. That's interesting. So now I want you guys to see if you can fill in or think about what we would call, what are some different names, some equivalent names that we would use to talk about this piece right here. What might we say? While you're thinking, what you're going to do in your notebook is you're going to color in you're going to color in what it looks like. So I'm doing my very best job to color in. Hopefully your coloring looks better than mine, since you guys aren't coloring on a screen. And you don't have to make it look perfect, but just so that we can clearly see that we've colored in that whole column. Okay, so color it in. Okay, so we've colored it in. What might we add here? What are some equivalent names for what we're seeing on today's marker? All right. You thinking we can't fill in the money section? Okay, we'll come back to that. Let's start with fractions. How might I write this as a fraction? Okay, so I'm hearing 10 out of 100. Okay, I'm gonna add that 10 hundredths. I'm gonna put that here. Is there another way or any other way that you guys saw this as a fraction? 1/10. Where are you seeing 1/10? Cool, because there's 10 of these. So here's 1, and then there's another 1. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And we colored in one of them, so that's 1/10. Very good. I'm going to add that. So 1/10. anybody see, I said we're going to come back to money. Does anybody see how this may be related to money? Up here we had a tenth. Down here we have a tenth. What's the relationship? Yeah, because a dime is worth 10, and there were 10 squares colored in. In a dollar, there's 100 cents. And in this flat or grid, 10 by 10 grid, we have 100 squares. So 1/10 is still worth 10 individuals, little boxes here. Okay, so I'm going to add that then to our money section. This is kind of like a dime, right? Because one column is 1/10. This is like a dime because they are both 1/10. Everybody agree with that? Y'all see where I got that from, right? I hope so. Let's make it a little bit smaller so it can fit. Okay, so the dime is 1/10. This column is 1/10. And I just showed you what it looks like if I circle those 10 groups of 10, which is really what we have. So then how do I write that as a decimal? Right, just like we did up here, where we have 0.10. That's absolutely correct. Can anybody think of another way we can write this decimal? We did say, so this decimal right here is saying that we have 10 hundredths. Uh-oh, Mr. Mel can't spell. Hundredths. I think I did it. Good. All right. So this is 10 hundredths. But we have that represented in fraction form. But we also have a tenth. So then how do I write a tenth as a fraction? Or, excuse me, how do I write a tenth as a decimal? If you don't know, here's what it looks like. Just like that. Take that 0 off of that bad boy. And now I'm in the tenths place. And so I have 1/10. So I'm going to write that too. Okay. Is it making sense? Are you guys getting it? We're going to continue to fill this sheet in as the month goes on. So if you don't get it now, eventually it's going to click, especially if you're making the effort to think about it and understand the relationships that we're talking about. Okay? And I know we don't have school tomorrow because it's Saturday, but just to have a little bit more practice, we're going to go ahead and answer what we did up here for the third calendar marker. So tomorrow's Saturday, it's the 3rd, we're not in school, but we really want some more practice with understanding how to write equivalent names or equivalent expressions for a picture. So let's look at this one. What might I write here? Right, it's 1/10 of the rectangle. So would I put that in the money column, the fractions column, or the decimals? I think fractions too. So 1/10 of the rectangle. Okay, so any other names? How about in decimal form? We know how to write a tenth, right? We just did it. So tell me. 0.1. Great, that's exactly what I want to hear, which is 1/10. All right, so I'm going to add that into my decimal column. Make it smaller. And here we go. So let's get back to this fraction thing. What's going on there? Let's think about how this is related to a dime. Right, there are 10 rectangles or 10 small rectangles within the rectangle. And so each one is like a dime because it's worth or could be worth 10. It's 1/10 of the whole shape. Good. So we got 10 dimes to make 1 unit, and we got 10 of these little squares to make 1 whole rectangle. So I'm going to write that just so that we can keep track of what's going. So each square is like a dime because there are 10 of them. And the rectangle. I know that's kind of big, but we're going to make it small. And we'll fit it in. All right, I'm going to transfer this information to our calendar grid observation chart. And just like in September, we're not going to talk about it every day, but every day we will fill it in. So when we do that, you're just going to have to pay really close attention so that you're keeping up with what's happening with our calendar grid for October. Now we're going to move into our next activity, and I think you'll like it. Okay, so our new game for this month is called Put It on the Line. Okay, so you may remember we've done computational fluency in September. Well, this is our computational fluency for October, or at least the first part of it. So each month, the focus is going to be different. And this month, we're focusing on rounding and estimating place value and adding and subtracting multi-digit numbers. I'm going to reveal problems as we play the game, and we're not going to do all of them just for the sake of time, but we will do enough so that you get the hang of what this game is all about. So take a moment and look at the line and tell me what numbers are missing. Right? It's between 0 and 1,000. Absolutely correct. But what's missing? What goes in between? Any clues so that we can be really precise? That means as correct as we possibly can. Right, they are even. There's an even amount of spacing between each number. That's correct. Did I hear that you think they're hundreds? Yeah. So maybe 100, 200? Let's check. 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900. It works out. Good job. You were right. So now that we know that, let me explain the game to you. The way the game works is there are problems under each of these little squares here, and we will reveal a problem for each turn. So it'll be you against me. I'm probably going to win like I did with Splat, right? Okay, fine. Anyways, so you're going to answer the question. You put your number on the line in your color. And when we finish playing, you're going to estimate the sum of all the numbers that you put on the line in your color. And whoever had the largest sum wins the game. So let's play. All right. So you guys go first. Which one would you like to pick? Okay, I'll guess which one you like to pick. You're right. 658 and 731 each round to which 100? What 100 do they round to? Yeah, 700. So I'm going to put that on the line. Remember I said I was going to give you a color? I think I said I was going to give you, let's just do green. Where might 700 go? Here? No. Here? No. Here? Yes. 700. Looks a little funky, but that's 700. Okay, Miss Tramel's turn. I'm going to choose here. If a hose sprays 50 gallons of water in 1 minute, how many gallons does it spray in 8 minutes? Yikers. What type of problem is that? It sprays 50 gallons in 1 minute. So how many in 8 minutes? That's 50, 50, 50, 50, 50, 50, 50, 50. Or, I know, 50 times 8, right? Who sprays 50 gallons of water in 1 minute? How many gallons does it spray in 8 minutes? Yeah, I think it's 50 times 8. Well, what is 50 times 8? We know 50 is 5 times 10, and then we still have times 8. So we can do 5 times 8, which is 40, times 10. 400. You got it, Miss Trammell. Kiss on your brain. Thank you. Thank you for the encouragement. Okay, 400 goes right here. Looks like you guys are already beating me. Doesn't seem fair. But it's your turn. How about this one? Solve it. Talk me through. Okay. It's 10. I'll use my pen here just to help you guys out. 10. And I'm doing the standard algorithm. Maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I should use partial. Yeah, let's use partial. Okay, so we got 10, and then we got 80 plus 50 plus 60. So 8 tens plus 5 tens, 13 tens, plus 6 more tens is 19 tens. So that's 190. So we have 10, we have 190, and it looks like we have 400 plus 200, which is 600. Jeez Louise. You guys, are y'all cheating through the computer? Well, we know this is 200, right? 200. And again, my 2 is looking kind of funky. Let's make that look better. Plus 600 is 800. And we know that goes here because we already see the 700, and 800 is bigger than 700. Come on, Miss Trammell, it's your turn. You can do this. You got to win. Okay, let's see. I'll choose this one. 10 times 20, 200. That was easy peasy. I'm purple. Now, we're not going to play the whole thing, but we're going to do one more round. And then after that, we're going to calculate the sum of our numbers. So that means add up our numbers for our colors to see who has the biggest sum. So we're going to do the next round really quick. Last one. Here we go. For green. In the number 226,517, what does the 5 represent? That's the easy one. What place is it in? Yeah, it's in the hundreds place, so it's, you got it, 500, and this time, just to make it a little neater, I'm going to use this to put it on there. Shame on me for not doing that earlier. I'll fix it. And my turn, let's go with this one. 5 times 60. Bad luck, Miss Trammell. 5 times 60 is the same thing as 5 times 6 times 10. 5 times 6, 30. 30 times 10, 300. So I'm going to put 300 on the line. And I probably should put it in my color. We'll just have to change up the colors, man, to keep track. Okay, so give me 1 second. Let me clean this up a little bit. Okay, clean it up a little bit. I made you guys blue. Sorry, I changed the color. So now in order to figure out who wins, you guys have to calculate what your total is. So 500 plus 700 plus 800. And I need to calculate my total. Go ahead and do that real quick. Yeah, so the blue team, which is me, right? I'm blue. I have to be blue because I need to win. Okay, fine, you're blue. What is your total? 700 plus 800 is 1,500. You can take 3 from 300 to make 1,000, and that leaves 500 left over. Plus another 500 is 2,000. Miss Trammell's score is a measly old 900. 400 plus 300, 700 plus 200 is 900. So who won? Whose number is larger? 900 or 2,000. You guys won. Thanks for playing this game with me, even though I hope to have better luck next time. You guys did an awesome job for day 2 of October. Have a great afternoon. Enjoy your weekend. Get some rest and stay safe. I'll see you guys on Monday.